Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello. आवाज नहीं आता है.
Okay. Wait for some.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. We'll wait for 3 to 4 minutes more to let few more people join in, and then we can start with our session.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello all, good afternoon.
Hello, sir. Just you one.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi everyone, good afternoon to today's session. My name is Purva and I would be hosting the session today. So I welcome you all to today's workshop on body language, active listening, public speaking and common etiquettes by Sushmita's classes. So before we head further, I will introduce what Sushmita classes is for you. It is founded in 2020 and it started in online mode and soon going to be launching classes offline. The main vision of it has always been to empower people achieve their goal, overcome the obstacles in their life called communication in English. The institute only focuses on one-on-one teaching as every student has their own difficulties and it can't be handled in a group. We deliver on our promises considering the real life situations a person comes across rather than relying on outdated textbooks. The 15 plus students studying currently in Sushmita's classes will certainly agree on this. Sushmita's classes aspires to be an edtech company which people can trust blindly because it doesn't try to dupe people by making fake promises. So we'll start with our today's first session with our one and only Sushmita. So I will give you a little bit of introduction of hers and then we can carry forward. So our first speaker would be Shushmita Yadav. She is the founder of the Shushmita's classes and an language turning trainer. She is working in MIT University in School of Holistic Development. She is pursuing her master's in teaching English to speakers of foreign language from ICTT and MBA marketing from NMIMS. She has completed her graduation in BA Psychology Special from St. Mira's College for Girls, Pune. She has total 4 years plus work experience with a 100% hit rate in interviews that she has ever given. She has been teaching. She has teaching experience of about 2 years, where she has been teaching for all the age groups ranging from 5 to 45 years old. So thanks a lot, Sushmita, for giving such an amazing experience to all of us ahead. I will transfer it over to you.
A lot, Purva. It was a nice introduction. Thanks a lot. So I welcome you all to this workshop that we have today on body language, active listening, public speaking, and of course, common etiquettes we should have. Okay, so for the segment called public speaking, we are going to have our guest speaker, Rakesh sir. So I had to take lots of effort to get him on this. And he is going to be joining us at around 1 p.m. after the first segments we covered. That is going to be on body language and active listening and common etiquettes. Okay, so let's start. So as you know, I'm Susmita Yadav. First segment we'll start with is body language. So before we go ahead, I want you all to tell me why body language is important in communication. So I want you all to write it down in the chat box of why you think body language is important while having a communication with anyone. You all can type it in the chat box. Okay. To express feelings. What else? Okay, body language is reinforcing the words for good results. Okay. Body language can indicate if a person is actively paying attention or is distracted from the conversation. Yes, Aditi, we had covered it in the class. That's why you remember. I'm glad you remember the points. Okay, to make an impression, our confidence, to give better impression in front of people. Okay, it shows one's personality. Correct, Mayank. Okay, great. We have very nice responses. That's a great thing. Yes, body language is important because it tells us whether the person is listening to us or not, the way Aditi said it. That's correct. But body language is important for lots of other points also. So we are going to be talking about it in brief, not very detailed, because you are not psychology students. We had to study it in detail when we studied psychology. But as you just need to learn it for daily communication, we are going to cover it briefly on how to present yourself, basically. Okay. And how to understand the other person's body language also. But more than that, it is important because it is about how you should present yourself. So yes, this is one quote I like very much. So kids used to sit back and listen to lectures. That was very long time back, but now they are leaning in. So by leaning in, we mean that, okay, they are paying attention to what is being said. That is how the body language has changed over a period of time. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to start with is, of course, your body language when you're talking to someone, it should be very relaxed and controlled. If I have, say, excessive gestures, that is also not going to be good because it might distract someone. Okay, it should always be purposeful. Only if it is needed, that is the time you should be giving gestures. By gestures, we mean your how you should be moving your hands while speaking. Okay, so it should not be very rapid or excessive, otherwise it is going to distract the listener. Okay, you should tilt your head slightly forward and occasionally, just to show that, okay, you're listening to the person. If I'm not giving any kind of gestures, that means maybe I am in my own world. Okay, that is the first thing we should be paying attention to. After that, whenever you're talking to someone, or whenever you're if you want to see if the other person is actually listening to you or not, you will see that lots of people have their hands folded like this. Okay, that is the time we understand, okay, this person is listening to me maybe, but he is not actually interested in what I'm saying, or whatever opinions that I am giving, he is not open to those opinions. And the same reason, when you're talking to someone, or when you are having a conversation, or if you go for an interview, say, your body posture has to be open. Okay, open, by open, I mean that your hand shouldn't be closed and your feet or your legs shouldn't be closed. Okay, it should be a box body posture that we should be having. Also, your shoulders need to be straight. Okay, and your chest needs to be relaxed, and your back needs to be relaxed. But by relaxed, I do not mean that you lean into the sofa or the chair that you are sitting in. Like, be very relaxed like this. You have to be straight. Okay, relaxed means it shouldn't be uptight also, but it shouldn't be very relaxed also, because then it might mean that you are not taking things seriously. Okay, you are a very casual person. So I want you to ask everyone a question. By looking at these pictures, what can you understand? If we see the body postures, the way the person is sitting in this, what all can you understand? The way, can we try to understand of what is going on in our head by just looking at the sitting posture? Can we or not? Would anybody like to unmute and answer? Yes, if yes, you can raise your hand so I can unmute you. Aditi, would you like to explain?
From the beginning, like in the first few pictures, you can see the person looks like they are like crouched, very like their legs are very close to the chest, not even touching the ground. Her hand is behind her head and everything. So it makes it look like she's very anxious or she's very scared of the conversation. Um, then as it goes down gradually, she seems to be a bit more relaxed, still anxious, but then on the second one, the second to last one, that image looks like the perfect one. She's like not too anxious, not too relaxed. She looks like she's paying attention. Her back is straight, her hands are on her knees and everything. Then when you go down further, it looks like she's becoming a bit more confident. Looks like she's about to ask somebody for ransom money.
Right.
They're looking a little too relaxed and almost lazy, kind of disrespectful too, if it's like a professional setting.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Aditi, for covering that up. Yes, you are absolutely right about what you said. In the first few pictures, we can see that she's a little anxious. And the second line that we have, we can see that, okay, she is getting a little bit of confidence in her. But again, the last pictures, she is overconfident, and it wouldn't be a great posture to sit in if you are in a professional setting, especially if you go for an interview or if you're sitting in a meeting. And if you go and sit like this, the person will say that, okay, it's not, you are not the right person over here. Okay, so your body posture should be confident, but at the same time not too relaxed also. Okay, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat box so I can answer it accordingly. Okay, now the facial expressions, that is something very, very important when we talk about body language, because more than the body, the person, if you are talking to someone or if you are in an interview, the person is going to look at your face. Okay, and that is why your facial expressions should be pleasant, not your face shouldn't look very gloomy also. It should be very pleasant, it should be positive and receptive. By receptive, we mean that, okay, that you're paying attention and you are listening to the other person. Your eye contact, that is very much important when you're talking to someone. If you're making an eye contact, that means you are a confident person, and if you're not making an eye contact, that means you are very underconfident. Okay, and it also means that, okay, I'm listening to you, but at the same time we should be cautious that we're not staring a lot at the person also, because even that would look like inappropriate, okay, if you're staring at someone. And again, we have to smile when appropriate. By when appropriate, I mean you should have smile on your face always. Okay, because it's always appropriate, but not constantly, especially when you are having a serious conversation with someone, or if you are sitting in an interview. Okay, these two situations, but otherwise you should always be smiling. At the same time, don't smile when it is inappropriate, because if say someone is giving you a bad news and if you happen to smile at that time, then it would come out as inappropriate. Okay, that is something very important. We will again cover it in active listening segment, don't worry. After that, do you have any questions before we move to the next segment? Any questions anyone has about body language? You can type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand so I can unmute you. Yes, no. If no questions, please type no in chat box so I can understand that you don't have any question about body language. No? No problem. We'll have a Q&A session in the end as well, so where you can ask if you have any question. Okay, no problem. We will move to the next segment called active listening, or we can talk about it as listening skills also. So before we move, I would like to ask you, why are listening skills important, or what do you understand by active listening? You know, when we studied psychology, it was a very big topic that we had to cover about active listening. Again, we are not going to cover it in depth, but I would like to know if you all know that there is something called active listening and why it is important. If you could just type it in the chat box of whatever your understanding is. Is everyone here or they went to sleep? Aditi? Okay, we don't have active listening skills. We cannot respond up to the mark. Okay. Okay, that's right. Anyone else? How attentive you are towards the speaker, correct. A way of responding others after listening. Okay. Yes, that's a good response. Not a problem. So why active listening or listening skills are important? So you might know that whenever we are, for better response, so whenever we are talking to someone, if you might have ever observed yourself or even the other person, you will see that most of people, while having a conversation, they are listening not to, you know, absorb whatever is being said, but to reply to the other person. Okay, so even right now when you're listening to me, you can maybe pay attention to your thoughts. You might be replying to me in your mind, I'm sure about that. So we don't listen to absorb whatever is being said by the other person, but we always listen to reply to it or respond to it. Okay, and that is something which is not good. If you don't understand what the other person is saying, how are you going to reply? Replying is important, but after absorbing whatever is being said. Okay. So here we have one more quote again. Can we be daring enough to listen? We talk a lot, we consume vast data, but when we really listen, we set aside the ego to connect with our innate wisdom, and the and will lift. So this is again a very nice quote that I like. So I have used it over here. So what is the importance of listening skills? I kind of summarized it for you, but we can go over it point by point. So if you are listening to someone, that time, so this is, I had heard about this somewhere, that if you are spending time with the person, you're not giving him your time, you're giving him your energy. Okay, and energy is something which is very important, same as time, because we are not going to get it back, right? Once you have, for example, you are giving me your time today, are you going to get that time back? No. If you spend money, maybe you can earn it back, but if you give me your time, you're not going to get it back. So that is why time is more precious than money. Okay, and if you are spending some time with me, even if you say when you come to the class, yes, I have been telling you this a number of times that time is important, but if you are, say, meeting me for a coffee or for a lunch and you are giving me that 1 hour, that 1 hour is just not time, you're giving me your energy also, because you'll be talking to me, you'll be having a conversation with me, whatever I will be saying, you will be replying to it, absorbing it. So that time you are giving me energy. So if you're giving me that energy, you should be paying 100% attention at that time, because yes, of course, I will feel heard. But say you came for a lunch with me or with anyone, okay, or you went for a coffee with anyone. So instead of spending time with that person, if you are using phone, may it be important, but if you're using your phone, then what is the use of sitting with that person in that coffee shop, right? So that is one of the etiquettes that we should have, that whenever we are with someone, that could be your friends or your family, when you're having lunch or dinner with them, you should be actually keeping your phone aside and spending some time with them. Okay, that is one of the etiquettes that we all should inculcate, I feel that. Okay, after that, yes, active listening is important, because yes, people will feel heard. If you just reply to the person, whoever is saying something, he will not feel heard. He'll be like, okay, whatever I'm saying, you are just replying to it. If I say, for example, you know what happened with me yesterday, I met with an accident, and it was not my mistake, it was the other person's mistakes. And the other person will most of the time say that, oh, you know what, I also met with an accident last year, it was the same way, the other person's mistake was there, it was not my mistake. So that time you'll understand that, okay, I was telling him about my distress and he is telling me about himself, but I didn't want that. I wanted to rant about me, not to listen to what happened to him in past, him or her in the past, right? I'm sure that everyone will agree with this. Most of the time this thing happens. So that's why when you're talking to someone, it's not, you shouldn't be telling about your experiences, especially when something is telling us about his bad experiences. Okay, if it's good experiences, maybe you can share your good experiences, but if it's bad experiences, they are sharing it with you, you should be actually listening to the person. Okay, and not giving your own experiences at that time. That point is important for feeling understood. So people will feel that, okay, you are being understood. Okay, and yes, you are understanding them at the same time. At the same time, it will help to improve your relationship with that person. That person will feel like talking to you. And yes, whenever you he or she is in distress, they will call you up. Maybe they will not be able to talk to other person, but they will talk to you. So that is why it is important. After that, it improves our understanding. It improves our understanding of what is being said. It de-escalates our problem. Okay, it doesn't raise any kind of problem that we could have, and it saves time and energy. If I'm just responding to the person, I might not, he might be trying to explain himself more, because he will feel that, okay, you did not understand what he wanted to say, because he will not be able to say it consciously that, okay, I want you to listen to me and not give your responses. Okay. It can also save money sometimes if you are listening actively, because yes, sometimes we happen to misinterpret the message. Okay, and we could have a great loss at that time. Maybe you might have not had any kind of experiences like that, but I have had those experiences in my life. And it also helps to give better results. Okay. After that, listening with mindfulness. I think I already covered the part of what is listening with mindfulness. Listening with mindfulness is listening and absorbing what is being said rather than just responding to the person, okay, of what he's saying and what I should be replying. By keeping that question aside, that what I should be replying, just absorb what is being said and then come up with a response if that is also if it is needed. Not every time a response is needed. Okay, then the thing that you could do is, yes, clear your head. Whatever is being said, just focus on that. Okay, maintain eye contact, so that means that you're listening to the other person again, and try to empathize with that person, because empathy is something that we all lack, and it is very important in today's era. Yes, just like I said just like I gave you an example of keeping your phone aside while talking to that person in that coffee shop. Yes, it means that it is you are 100% available to that person and you are giving your attention to that person. Okay, you must have again observed that sometimes we or the other person is on the phone and you are telling him something and he's just replying, or you know, he's replying huh, or he is just nodding and you feel that he's listening. But if after 2 or 3 seconds you ask him what did I say, he'll be like, you said something, maybe out of 10 words he will be able to give you back 2 words whatever you said. So that is how diverted our attention is, and that is why multitasking is not good. Also, it means that you are you are hearing the other person, you're listening to the other person, and you are understanding of what is being said, and think about the meaning of what is being said rather than the tone. So I guess I have taught lots of you about what is intonation. So intonations matter, because if I say, for example, if I say congratulations, if I'm saying that sadly, I'm saying congratulations, right? But if I'm saying that sadly, that means though I'm wishing well for you, but I'm sad about it. That is what intonation is. Okay, so if I say congratulations, that means that I'm happy for you, that you know you won something or you got something. I'm happy for you. At the same time, if any sad news is there and if I say rest in peace, then it is going to be like, am I happy that that other person died? Okay, so we should avoid that to happen. And at the same time, more sometimes the person says in different intonation, or you know, it could be misinterpreted because of the intonations that other person is using. That time we should focus on what is being said rather than the tone over there. Okay. Okay, not a problem. If meeting ends by any chance, please rejoin with the same link. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to talk about barriers to listening. Yes, I already talked about this. Multitasking is a very big barrier to listening. Also, jumping to conclusions. So we might have our own stereotypes in our mind, and we could jump to our own conclusions about what is being said rather than understanding what is being said. Distractions, I gave you the example already that distractions of your phone is your distraction while you're talking to other person. Same time you could be, you know, getting distracted by anything else. So try to avoid those distractions while listening to someone or talking to someone. Also, physical barriers are a very big obstacle while speaking. So avoid having any kind of physical barrier when you're talking to someone. Also, pressure to serve quickly. Okay, pressure to serve quickly, that you are trying to respond to the other person quickly. That is also going to be an obstacle if you are having a conversation with someone. Also, if you are rude or angry to your customers, it is going to have a great loss for you. Okay. And language barriers, it is a very big barrier for active listening or listening skills, because if you do not understand the particular language that the other person is saying, yes, it is going to be a big barrier for you. Also, viewpoint, just wait for your turn, okay, while speaking, and don't talk out whatever is needed, whatever you want to respond without waiting for your turn. So we all know most of the times we do that other person is not finished and we interrupt him and we talk. Especially this is done in group settings, and I have observed it a lot. When you are sitting in a group with your friends or in a meeting, you do not look whether the other person is done talking or whether he wanted to say anything. We take up some topic and we just go on a different boat at that time. Okay, also we should set aside the emotional baggage that we might have while talking to someone. By emotional baggage, I could mean that when if I am sad, if I have had a fight with someone, and if other person comes and talks to me, I should not rant at him, or at the same time I should not take out that anger on him. So that is also something very important. We should keep our emotional baggage aside while having a conversation. Yes, how to overcome the barriers? Of course, face the person while talking, make an eye contact, keep your hands still, but not very still, have proper gestures, not too excessive gestures also. Feet should be calm. Lots of people have the habit of shaking their feet while talking, or, keep moving again and again, keep scratching, or lots of other things. So that should not be a distraction, or lots of people have a habit of having a pen in their hand and they keep moving it because they are anxious maybe. So that is something which is not good. And also concentrate on what is being said. Also take out any kind of judgment that you might have about that person or that topic that you're having a conversation upon. So keep that judgment aside maybe. You can also ask clarifying questions, okay, if you have if you have any kind of judgment, or if you have any kind of stereotypes, you could actually ask for clarifying questions. Okay, did you mean this? But if you say this, if you say that God doesn't exist, does it mean that you don't believe in God? You can ask clarifying questions, and also you can paraphrase. Okay, so that is something which is again important. Paraphrase and ask question again. Okay, so before we move to the next segment, I want to know if anyone has any questions. Please type your questions in the chat box. Any questions or anything that you want to understand more? What's paraphrasing again? Okay, paraphrasing is basically the way I said, if you say that the God doesn't exist, do you mean this? Or you could actually change the sentence and ask the question again. Okay, that is paraphrasing. Like taking that sentence and putting it in your own words. That is what paraphrasing is. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, so here we are going to take a 2 minutes break. Please rejoin with the same link. Okay, you could have water and take 2 minutes break, and please rejoin on the same link.